On? Microphone on? Okay. Is it time? Is it time? Is it time for art lessons? All right. Welcome to art lessons today, guys. We are going to be doing, I've got to get my microphone all set. It's kind of all, hang on just a second. Let me swirl with it. There we go. I think we've got it. So, we are doing a perspective drawing today, and a thank you to Emma, my niece, and her brother, Luke. Happy birthday today, my nephew. They have requested a Titanic drawing. And it worked perfectly because I wanted to do another perspective drawing. And so I wanted to, this is a great way to do a boat. And, well, the Titanic, everyone knows pretty much, or you might have heard, and if you don't, you're going to know about the Titanic by the end of this lesson. But when we do a boat, and I'm going to adjust the perspective a little bit when we draw it to make it more true to a perspective lesson. But when you do a boat, it's just like anything else. With perspective, it's bigger as it comes to you and smaller as it goes away to what we call the vanishing point, if you remember. I also like doing a boat because it is a perfect example of a horizon line. You can see a horizon line right here going through. There is literally nothing. It is the sky meets the water. So you always get a beautiful horizon line anytime you have water. So we've got that. And the horizon line is, again, where the earth meets the sky. It's going to be what anchors your picture when you're doing landscapes. So we've got that in there, so we're going to be introducing that. And then we also have all these things which will work, and it's going to put perspective in just a different way. So when you think of drawing, you can adjust some of these techniques to other things. So Tate, you want to come over here? And we're going to talk a little. Tate is really nervous. He said, I can't believe Emma is going to make me draw the Titanic today. So he was very nervous about it, but that's okay. He's going to do great, and you are too. So we're going to tell him some facts about the Titanic. You want to help me? We looked up some, and Tate, actually, for his school, he got to pick a book. So he picked, what book did you pick? What book did you pick? We have to say it out loud.
Can't see the paper.
Yeah, they can't see the paper. Can you say it? You a little nervous? The Titanic. So, you want to read any of these facts out? Do you remember one of the things? What did they have 4 of? 4, what are they? Elevators? They had 4 elevators? Okay, so they had 4 elevators because this was the largest ship in the world when it was built. And it was built between 1909 and 1911. It was, look how long it was, 882 feet long and 175 feet high. That is long. And it had a crew of 900 people. And how did it drive? Did it have a towboat? No. What did it do? Did your book tell you? Was it powered by steam? And how did they make the steam? They burned coal, that's right. And where was it going? Was it going to Argentina? Where was it going? New York City. And, when the people were on board, could they do anything? Did they have anything fun to do? What could they do? Oh, they could get their hair cut at their 2 barber shops. They could go swimming. Where could they go swimming? In a heated pool. They could do what else? They could go pump iron at a gym. They could go read a book about the Titanic in the library. And they had their own newspaper that they printed on board so they could read the daily news from the light. And they could read it it was the first boat to have electric lights in all the rooms. Isn't that funny? Electric lights in all the rooms. Do you even think twice about turning your electricity on? But that was a big deal. So this is a pretty cool boat that we're talking about. Now, something happened to the boat that wasn't so cool. Well, I guess it was cool. It was really cold. Do you know what happened to it? What happened? Did it hit an iceberg? It hit a Like a little iceberg? Or a big iceberg, like 20 feet out of the water or higher than that? It was pretty big. Well, it didn't fare so well. So where's the Titanic now? It's at the bottom of the ocean.
At the Atlantic Ocean.
In the Atlantic Ocean, off the coast of Newfoundland, actually. It's way deep, and you can watch a special about it afterwards. After you draw the Titanic today, you can go look up and find out. They have all sorts of neat documentaries on finding artifacts and the people that survived, and lots of neat things. So, okay, are you getting ready to draw? You can do this. I've got my faith in you. You've got this. So let's get ready to draw the Titanic. Tate can do it, and you can too. So I am going to Tate, do you want to use a pencil today? You can use a pencil. I'm going to use a marker or charcoal. I'm going to grab something that's dark enough that you can see what I'm doing. You want to have your piece of paper, and you want to have a ruler because we're doing perspective, so we're finding our lines. I think I'll grab a permanent marker right over here. So, do you want a permanent marker too? Okay, there you go. So I will, do you need this space right here? I'm going to pull this down, and I'll just pick this up when we need to reference it. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find where our horizon line is. Now, I am going to kind of put some dots along here. I'm just going to dot my horizon line because I'm using a permanent marker. So I'm going to dot it all along. I'm going to kind of get it. Now I'm about halfway on my paper. So you can put it at about there. I would recommend you put your paper in what's called landscape mode. This is called portrait mode. When it's taller vertically, it's portrait mode. When it's longer horizontally, it's portrait mode. So we're going to do that. And then, let's see, I am going to kind of create pretty far over here. I think I'm going to create my vanishing point about here. Can you see that dot on camera, Keaton? Right over here. So this is going to be our vanishing point. This is going to be what we take everything to. And so I'm about that far out. So about this far over, I'm going to start where I'm going to put my bow of my ship. So I'm going to draw a line, not quite straight up and down, and I'm going to come all the way down, maybe a little past my horizon line because we're going to be in the water. So, and yours might be a little high, but it's going to work, baby. So we're about this high. If my paper is this large, I'm probably about a quarter up into it, and I have about a half of my paper there. If you kind of look at scale when you're drawing things, because my paper would go across this way and across this way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find about where the end of the boat is, and I'm going to do that by putting my ruler up and starting my first line that's going to go to my vanishing point. So I'm going to come, and I'm going to come all the way the top. I'm going to line up the top of my line to my vanishing point line. So here's my vanishing point dot, and here's the top of my line. Okay? And I'm not going to go all the way to it, but I'm going to go to it about that far. So keep going, Tate. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going and stop right about there. So this is going to be about the length of my boat. So that's going to be about the length of Tate's boat. So however long you made it is going to be as long as your boat is. If you want to make it a little bit longer, you can do that. But you don't want to go all the way to here because we're going to need to see the end of the boat. Kind of where we see this bigger end. And then as we go away, we see this smaller end right here. So, so we're going to do the same thing again, and we're going to kind of create the bow. I'm going to go a little bit below. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a second point. So I have 2 points right here. Kind of looks like we're making a big triangle, but we're going to get this in so we get this second point. line it up with my vanishing point, and I'm going to draw another line just below it. Okay, so see what that looks like now? Can you see what we're, yep, that looks great. That looks great. So,
Like it's almost sticking up.
I know, yours is like the cool Titanic. Okay, so we're going to do this again one more time, just a little bit below. So I'm going to put another dot. You don't have to make your dots as big as I do. I'm just trying to show you where they go. And I'm going to line my ruler up. And then we're going to go just as long as those other lines. Okay? How's everyone doing? So remember, we put in our horizon line. Then we dropped in the bow of our boat. And then we started with 3 dots. And we connected them to our vanishing point, stopping a little short. And that's going to be the length of our boat. So it doesn't look like much yet, does it? But it's going to come to fruition pretty quickly. So let's start putting in some of the top parts, and you'll start to see what's going to happen. So we're going to start to put in some of this and these smokestacks. Now, why would they need smokestacks? What's coming out of the smokestacks? What is it? Is that the steam? The steam, because that's what powered the boat. So these are important. Although Michaela and Keaton told me something right before, one of these is fake. So one of the smokestacks should not have smoke coming out of it. Okay, so we're going to come up here, and I'm going to draw right here. I'm going to start drawing in this box. I'll hold this up above me so you can see it. So not quite halfway, but about right here, I'm going to draw a line up. I'm making this right here, and then I'm going to draw a line across. You can use your ruler if you want, or you can freehand. Now, I'm keeping it parallel, going this same way to my line. So it's kind of like I'm making a step up. And then it kind of comes down a little bit, so I'm going to step down. Just like that. And then one more line across. And we're going to basically have our front. So I'm going to drop it down right there. And then I'm going to take it all the way down to the boat. So it's kind of strange, but it'll start just with a few lines. You'll start seeing what's happening. What, Keaton?
I figured out why it has a.
Oh, Keaton has information why it has a fourth fake that is hard to say. Fourth fake smokestack. Say that 4 times fast. What is it?
It was still used for ventilation, but people thought if it only had 3, it would be underpowered, so they put 4 on it.
Oh, so it's to look more powerful. But it wasn't really more powerful. Okay, so now we see Tate's, we've got our bow of our boat, our lines connecting, and now we've got where we're putting the cabins and different things on there. So let's make a perspective out of it. So we're going to go to this point right here, and we're going to do the same. Now you want to end it at the end, and it might end on its own. We're going to see. But so I know that this is where the end of my boat is, so I'm going to want to end it there. So I'm going to come down. And it's going to look like that. Yep, and you want to end it where you ended these other lines right there. Good job. Good job. Good job. So you see how that starts to happen? So we're going to let's add another line across. So I'm doing it on that front box. I'll pull it away and you'll see what I just did. Whoops, there's my ruler. Yep. Now we've got another point. Anytime we have points that are going up and down, those are the points we're connecting to our vanishing point. So let's take that to our vanishing point. But stopping again at the end of our boat, just like that. Okay, so now we're going to make the lines of the smokestack. Now we have the boat coming right at us, so we're not going to separate our smokestacks as much. We're going to put them kind of closer together so we can fit them all. So I'm going to do my first smokestack. So right in the middle there, and then about right here. So I'm going up and down, and I'm a little bit higher than where the boat is. See that? And then let's round that top. Now this is important. This is where we use our vanishing point. So I'm going to let everybody get to this point. Do we have any questions? And does anybody know anything else to share with us about the Titanic while we're drawing it too? So we did our bow. Well, first of all, we did our horizon line and our vanishing point. In perspective, you'll always talk about a vanishing point. So you'll always have a place that you're disappearing as you get smaller. We did our bow. Then we came in with these lines on our bow. Then we're putting the base of our boat in here. And then we put our smokestack up there. So in order to find out where the rest of our smokestacks go, we're going to put our ruler at this tip and right here. Are you ready? So this way we know, this is a little tricky, so I want you to follow me. So we're going to go to the tip of the ruler. We know smokestack 2. So I'm putting that in. And then we're going to go to smokestack. So this is what it looks like if I pull it away. And then I'm going to come, same thing. I'm lining it up with this corner of smokestack 1 and the vanishing point. And I'm going to put in smokestack 2. And I'll round that off. See how we're getting smaller? And I'll pull that away so you can see what we're doing. Yep. So let's get smokestack 3 now. We're going to put it a little bit closer. Let's get that. Same thing. Whoops, let me lower it. Yep. So I lined it up with the corner of smokestack 1. And then we put it in. And I'm putting those vertical lines in. So we're making sure our smokestacks are going this way. Now you can drop a pencil line in here right there and then meet these two there. I'm just eliminating that step and letting you get right to it. That looks great, Tate. So we've got our smokestack 1, smokestack 2, and then we all know it has 4 because 4 doesn't have any steam. And as a matter of fact, let's make some steam coming out of 1. You just go like that. You just make some squiggles. Let's make some steam coming out of number 2. Now, we need steam out of 3, don't we? All I'm doing is drawing little squiggly lines, meeting them at the top and the bottom, and go out like that. So let's make smokestack number 4. And let me know if I need to repeat anything because we're kind of going through it. But you're remembering every time we're putting a point here and we're connecting to our vanishing point. So I'm going to line my ruler up again with that point and line it down here. And let's put smokestack 4 in. And I know you can't see it because I'm right in front of it, but I'm going to move it in just a minute. So I lined it up right there. Yep. See how we're having those go smaller? So we're just going to oh, Tate made steam coming out of his. His works. Number 4 works on his. Yours can work too. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're going to give these a stripe to help them look rounder. But instead of making our stripe straight across, do you see how there's this curved line right there? Almost like you're drawing a frowny face. We're going to do that along these, and it helps give it that curved appearance. So let's do that. It's starting to look like a boat, isn't it? We're starting to get there. So let's go ahead and end the end of our boat. I see where I'm going to need to extend my little lines, and then that way we can start adding some extra details in. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to start connecting my lines, and I realize I need to extend them out just a little bit more because I need that end. There we go. So I just connected all my lines on the end to get to the end of my boat. And you want to take it all the way down. Yep. Oh, Tate, I love your boat. Okay, so you see how we've gotten all the way, tip of the bow to the end. Is it the stern? The bow and the stern? Okay, all the way to the stern. I want to use proper words. So we're going to add a few little things, and then I'm going to show you the tricky part of this that's going to jump you to a whole new level of drawing and awesomeness. So what we're going to do is it has a big mast right here. So let's put that in. So about between the bow and this, we're just going to put a mast in, which means an up and down, and I'm going to make it about all. Yep, like that. So let me do it, Tate, and then you can see. There we go. Ooh, I like yours. Yours is nice and tall. Okay, we're just going straight up. And then I'm going to cap it off. I kind of just feel that'll look nice if I do that. And then it has all sorts of lines coming down. So we're going to represent a few of those. And so just come a little bit down from the top. Can you see that line where I did it? And we're going to draw some lines down to here and to here. So I'm just going to do this from this point to this point. This is not a vanishing point. This is just I need to connect my lines. See what I did? So you're going to draw yours, yep, from there to there. Oh, right there, where your bottom of your yeah, you can just freehand it. Awesome. Okay, and then we'll do it, I'll freehand mine too. We're going to do it from this point to the bow. Let's do that. Now, why am I not putting those on the vanishing point? Because they're not actually vanishing. They're up in the front, so we're just connecting it to points on the boat. So there's some more, so let's connect a few more. We're just going to have them come down like that. Tate, can you do that? And they're going to connect to the same point. Oh, you need another marker? Okay, here you go. Yep. So you're just going to connect, maybe put a line about there. Connect some more. I think that'll give us some connection points right there.
We did have a couple people send in Titanic facts.
Ooh, we have some Titanic facts. So we'll let everyone kind of get caught up where we are. Okay.
So Molly Brown was on the ship, and she was a strong woman who helped others in the lifeboat.
Molly Brown was on the ship, and she was a strong woman that helped others in the lifeboat.
She was from Denver.
And she was from Denver, so shout out to Colorado.
And then they're building another ship for a remembrance trip.
They're building another ship for a remembrance trip. Wow.
And it was its first voyage.
That's right. It was its first voyage. It was the first time. Oh, Keaton has a fact. Maiden voyage. Maiden voyage. That's okay. So we've kind of got all this. We're pretty close. So let's start adding what we're going to call a second point. Now, when you get into perspective, and we only have a few little things, and then we'll add some details, and then you can color all day long and fill this in however you want. But in perspective, you can have 1 point, you can have 2 points. Wow, 2 points. So I'll show you how that works. Or you could have multiple points. It really can get kind of crazy. Tate's like, 2 points? 2 points? Are you really going to make me do that? Well, we're just going to have a little bit of our ship so that our bow really feels three-dimensional. So in order to do that, we need to make another point. So I'm going to put a point on this side. Now, don't worry. We only have like 2 or 3 lines to put on here. Normally, when you're doing 2 point, you can get really, really crazy. So I've got my second point over here. Now, I'm going to mimic this line right here a little bit shorter. I'm going to do this right there. Yeah, just come down on your boat a little bit wider. You can come out, start about there, and come on down, however you want to do it. And now I'm going to connect. Remember our first 3 points on our bow? I'm going to connect them to this vanishing point line. So here's my vanishing point, and here's that first point on my bow, and I'm going to connect it like that. You see what happens? We get that point. So Tate, let me show you that. Yep. So Tate's would be just, he freehanded is, but you want to let him see? Can y'all see? So here's Tate's vanishing point. Here's the point on his bow, and then you connect those. So you're getting that. So we need to connect all 3 points. So we're going to do this third point, and we're going to connect that. You see what starts to happen? And then we're going to connect this third. So to show you how I did that again, this is a great way to introduce with just 3 connections a second point perspective. It's how when you get a corner of a building or when you have to have things that are disappearing into 2 different points, like if you were at the bow of a boat, it's going to go 2 different ways. So all of these points from this point over are vanishing to here. These 3 came to this vanishing point because that is where the bow of the boat comes together, and these start vanishing off this way. So that's the only part we're going to get into 2-point perspective, but I did want to start introducing it because it's another level of drawing that starts to help you understand. Yours looks so good. I'm so proud of you. Okay, so you ready to add some details? Now the cool thing is you can do your details any way you want. So let's start talking about putting in portholes and little lines, and we're going to use our vanishing point for that too. So I'm back over here on this point. I'm all back to this point. I'm going to put my ruler, and I'm going to put it around here, and I'm going to start making portholes along the ruler. So here. And my holes just get a little smaller as I go, and they start getting into little dots. Oh, you see what happens there? Yeah, Tate, that looks great. And they're getting smaller. Oh, Tate, that looks good. So you use, even the portholes are following that vanishing point right there. So we're going to do, let's make another line of portholes because there's another, let's have another row of people happy to have some light. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm lining it up. I'm just going to move it down a little bit. I'm lining my ruler up with my vanishing point. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. Make my little portholes, which will be round, and I just get smaller, a little closer together as we go on. And let me know if you have any questions. There you go. And we start getting it. So once you start figuring out that that's, you can do that, and yeah, that looks so good. Let's do one more row. What do you think? Or you think 2 rows is enough? You think you have enough people? We have to fit. How many people were on board? A lot. Wait, let me see if I have in my notes. 2,200 people. Wow. Okay, so let's give them one more row of lights, of windows. So I'm going to do the same thing, line my ruler up. Here we go. I might get seasick if I was this far down into the boat, I have to confess. I get a little seasick if it's moving around too much. Does anyone else get a little seasick? So if we saw more of the boat, you could also end up doing but you won't be able to see enough to really use that perspective line. So I think we need a few windows up top. What do you think? Let's look here. Oh, you know where I think we should put some windows, Tate? Do you like those windows there? Yours looks so good. And let's put a few windows up top so the captain can see the iceberg. Okay. So we don't need our ruler. We can just put a few in right here. I'm just going to put some squares in along the top. Yeah. And maybe we'll do some down here. So if we're doing anything on this line, I'm going to line up with my vanishing point, and I'm going to put it right in between here and add some windows, which I think I'm just going to represent with some dashes like this. Here, I'll take this apart and you can see it. I just went along my line just like that. Oh, I like that tape. Now, the nice thing is now that you know how to do this, you can add as many details as you want. You can write the SSS Titanic. I don't know how many S's it has. SS Titanic. You can write whatever you want. You can name it your own ship if you want. But, oh, Tate, that's exactly. I'm so glad you reminded me. We need to put some water in. So now our horizon line can get a little bit of wiggle room, literally. And we can put some of our ocean in there. I'm so glad you reminded me about that. And that gives you the Titanic. So, if you have any questions, let us know. You can continue to add windows, circles. You can make guidelines with when I talk about a guideline, I talk about using a pencil, drawing a line, and then you can know how to move amongst those. You can get very, very, very detail oriented with perspective. But I wanted to give you more a fun overview. Oh, Tate is making something very important. He's making a lifeboat. That's awesome. Put some people in the lifeboat. Yeah, they didn't have very many of those. Yes,
they
Keaton.
Have a lot of lifeboats because they took a bunch of them off so the first class passengers could have more room to move around.
Oh, they took off.
1,000.
They said
200.
They said they didn't have as many lifeboats.
They only had about.
How many is that?
They only had like 68 lifeboats.
No, they had more than that.
There's 1,000. So
They had 1,000. They had 1,000 lifeboats.
yeah.
Oh,
They had to have 1,000.
they took that many off, probably, or for that many people. So you can have fun with this. There's a beautiful sunset. If you want to start adding color, you could add your water and sunset. These are the colors of the Titanic. It did have the orange stacks and the black right here and the white. But you can make yours any color you want. This can be your boat. But the neat thing about this, really, when we're drawing, I'm always wanting you to learn and understand how the drawing comes together. Not just that lines move, and I want you to see the shapes in the drawing. I want you to understand how it connects perspective-wise. And all those are big words for you are learning how to draw. That's what it is. Like you're understanding it. You're looking at things like an artist. You're seeing how things work together, and you're making really beautiful pictures. So I hope you had fun on this drawing lesson. I hope you go back and add some more details and you share those with me at makepaducah.com. If you got lost in the waters anywhere along this trip, you can be sure and find it on Facebook. We'll post it afterwards where you can rewatch any, or we post it to my YouTube, which is at my name, Kisa Hausman. So Kijsa, we post it to YouTube there. And tomorrow we have a really fun big red yak. We're going to base it on a really neat lesson.
They want to see Tate's.
Oh, Tate. Okay, they want to see your picture. Oh, wait, is this the guy in the movie doing this? It's Jack. I love it. But lots of cardboard scraps, and we do need the corrugated part. We're going to take it apart, and we're going to have a lot of fun with that tomorrow. The reason it is red is because we have a local art center called the Yiser Art Center, YAC, which is the yak, and they have a giant red yak out front. So we want to pay homage to our local art center and all the local art centers in the community that are having to be closed, and just want to recognize what they bring to our community. So join us tomorrow for the big red yak and go draw your Titanics. Y'all have a great day. Art is man's nature. Nature is God's art. Happy sailing.